Teaching Services Commission launches a new online database system. PIH opens new branch in Mount Hagen. And Simbu SME Foundation embarks on delivering projects. Good evening and thanks for joining us on Sunday's news. I'm Kilawani. The Teaching Service Commission has officially launched the Teachers Information Management System online database recently. This database was established to capture current teacher biodata and human resource information for all teachers currently teaching in schools in the country. Education Secretary Dr. Uke Kombra says, apart from keeping a teacher's biodata, the data will also be used for the purpose of improving teachers' terms and conditions.
Pleasure to launch the Teachers Database for Papua New Guinea.
The Teachers Information Management System online database was officially launched by TSC Chairman Samson Wangihomi and Education Secretary Dr. Uke Kombra. The key features of this database system covers teacher personal information, teacher qualification, teacher history, current teacher position, supporting documents and other employment details. Education Secretary Dr. Uke Kombra says this information will be used for the purpose of improving teachers' terms and conditions.
Apart from keeping just the data of a teacher, we should investigate to look at how best we can use that data for purposes of improving the terms and conditions of teachers, the professional growth of a teacher, to ensure that a teacher is paid his or her right salaries and entitlements.
The Teaching Services Commission is one of the three entities under the Education Ministry, and it is the employer of all teachers in the country. It is responsible for the administration and disbursement of teacher salaries, other entitlements, appointment, discipline, and professional development. This database is a centralized electronic online system that will capture teachers' biodata and human resource information, as the current ALESCO system only keeps records of teacher salaries. The system also enables the accessing and sharing of information on teachers at the provincial level.
To see it go online after this launching will make the job easier. I wish to report that here, the last year, we asked all teachers, college, graduating students to fill in an information sheet. So we have entered their data already into the system.
The online system is also an intervention against the use of fraudulent documents, bogus claims and ghost teachers, and it helps in the implementation of one person, one pay, one position policy.
I thank you for taking the leadership to ensure we implement the 3 Ps. There's only one person for one pay and for one position. That started in NCD, and we will roll that out to all the provinces with the support of the department.
This will also eliminate ghost teachers and fraudulent teachers by the press of a button.
The Teaching Services Commission further acknowledged the Education Department's ICT division for their support in designing the online database system. The TSC chairman says the system will improve its service delivery to all teaching service members.
When this is launched today, it will go live through the Education Internet. Provincial Education Divisions, teaching divisions of Department of Education inspectors can have access to it, and we all can work together to enter all the information for all our teachers in all our sectors and capture them through this Teacher Information Management System.
Rayon Lakingu National, EMTV News.
A new classroom and library for a United Church-run primary school in central New Island, Namatanai District were opened recently through the Namatanai District Development Authority at a cost of 40,000 kina. Namatanai MP Walter Schnobelt opened the new education infrastructure in front of a crowd of about 500 people from Kadan community and nearby villages.
After a colorful traditional welcome, the Namatanai MP didn't mince with his words upon taking the stage, pledging to set the platform for the next generation.
As an adult today, namagi Namatanai, miluki mi potem lumei, Olsem, we must go past the Risla generation, the setting platform for the next generation behind me.
MP Schnobelt highlighted some key projects that are currently being rolled out in the district, urging the people to be appreciative and to take responsibility of the new school infrastructure being built.
One and this line of Bella development. One and Bella can you blow oxygen with this up? Alice Primary School, Narva 1.5 million kina can you along 6-in-1 can. I'm all listening something, I'm all Bella there because for the past 45 years, 50 years, you did not see this. You don't know, look him. Now them, you know about on them. I pass, huh? And I'm not I pass. How am I?
MP Schnobelt, who is also Minister for Forests, told the people of Kadan and neighboring villages in central New Ireland that the new school classroom and library infrastructure are being funded through the Namatanai DDA at a cost of 40,000 kina. School students, staff, parents and the community were delighted at the opening of the new school infrastructure. Other similar infrastructure projects are being rolled out in the Namatanai district. Dennis Orere, National MTV News.
Pacific International Hospital opened its new branch in Mount Hagen yesterday. Apart from Port Moresby, the private hospital now has branches in Lae and Mount Hagen and is looking at extending to Wabeg, Milne Bay and Kokopo. Their aim is to provide specialist health care and for people to use the facility to check up their health status and stay healthy.
PIH Mount Hagen branch is situated at Tininga Central. PIH heralded its services to the Highlands region because of the demand in receiving referral patients from the 7 Highlands provinces to get specialist treatments in Port Moresby. This will save cost and patients' life. Board Chairman Sir Moy Avi says they will partner with the provincial health authorities to deliver primary health care and offer specialist services in the Highlands region.
We all have the responsibility to give those children the same opportunity for tertiary health care. When other people are staying shy, PIH is putting its hand up to provide those tertiary health care that is being provided in other parts of the world.
The addition is a benchmark for clinical facilities in Mount Hagen to provide access for easy referral to specialist medical services, including dental and eye care services, which are greatly needed. This is also a wellness clinic concept that will also promote preventative medicines and help create awareness on lifestyle diseases and related deaths, which is becoming common in PNG.
This footprint of ours coming to the Highlands, this was on the anvil for a long period of time, but somehow we were debating the value of coming up here only as a clinic. We thought that possibly a hospital would be a better bet. But then we realized that we have to make a start somewhere, and we came up with the clinic.
A criticism that is associated with PIH is the cost. However, PIH says, like any other businesses, they spend money to import drugs and medical consumables, and their hospital fees are affordable as possible. PIH Board of Directors said they have confidence in PNG despite the downturn in the economy by COVID-19. Vasanatha Yama, National MTV News, Mount Hagen.
A 65-year-old man and a 27-year-old expectant mother are receiving treatment in Tabubil Hospital following 2 separate medevac operations in Western Province. The 2 critically ill patients were airlifted by OTML following calls from their families. The 65-year-old man, Ralph Sereseng, was suffering from dehydration due to urinary tract infection, while the pregnant mother had a condition where the baby's umbilical umbilical cord was blocking the birth canal. Saraseng was the first to be medevaced out of Bolivar village in South Fly and later the expectant mother from Iowara in Middle Fly. The pregnant mother is thankful by the assistance from OTML after she lost her first baby due to lack of medical assistance. The Simbu SME Foundation, upon embarking on delivering SME projects in the province, is unhappy that there has not been any assistance from the government. Foundation Managing Director Peter Siune spoke to EMTV News this week, explaining the organization's plans and policies in alignment with the national government's SME policy.
The Simbu SME Foundation was established last year and is now ready to roll out its programs in the 10 priority areas, which Managing Director Peter Siune says are aligned with the national government's national SME policy.
The national government has developed so many programs on SME that people are talking on SME, but for the foundations that we have been developing in the province, it's like we are creating a platform in a province where our SME stakeholders in the province, about informal and formal sectors, involving in this concept.
One project that the Simbu SME Foundation is embarking on is the One Stakeholder, One Car policy.
We have a 5 years development plan. In this 5 years development plan, we want all our stakeholders, both formal and informal, to actively participate in SME activities. Then they involved in this transport program, One Stakeholder, One Car policy, to have their own cars, assisting them in doing their business.
The 10 program areas include transport, training, coordination, women in business, disability, churches, security and infrastructure. It aims to address SME-related issues both in the formal and informal sectors of the province. However, the foundation is concerned that since its inception, there has not been any government recognition or support.
So far, since we have been operating in the province, we haven't received any assistance from the government. This week, as well, the provincial government, they are not even assisting us in any forms. We are coming on our own ways.
Since how many years you've been?
We are operating since last year. We've been developing a policy and doing a public consultative research, survey and all this, and conducting workshop and compiling a policy. But we actually in operations, it's 6 months into operation now.
Dennis Sorere, National EMTV News.
You're watching National EMTV News. When we come back, we bring you tonight's A Closer Look. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news. In 2018, the EMTV crew in Leh covered the eviction of 2 families from a National Housing Corporation duplex at Eriku. For more than 4 years, the occupants, Levi Kurakipa and Amos Tarali, fought hard to remain as legal tenants and to purchase the property as long-time sitting tenants. The property, however, was sold to a Chinese company, KC2. The legal battles were costly and it was exhausting for both families. While Mr. Kurakipa was determined to appeal their case, the family decided against it because the stress had affected his health as well. Last month, Mr. Levi Kurakipa passed on. This evening, on A Closer Look, Lucy Kopana reflects on late Levi Kurakipa's story as an evicted NHC tenant who was vocal against the rot in the system.
Levi Kurakipa was a man our team came across while covering evictions on long-time National Housing Corporation tenants in Leh. He was a public servant, a senior court sheriff who served in the Morbe province for more than 30 years. Levi and a fellow public servant, Amos Tarali, rented this NHC duplex at Eriku and lived there for over 20 years.
Still paying me to deduct yet.
In 2018, while their families were at home, a group of men armed with knives chased the women and children off the property and forcefully brought out all their belongings onto the main road. They had been evicted.
Last night, all okay, me blasini about tried enough rain came, me was in cellar rain. Now, this like inhuman treatment.
One of the family's relatives who tried to fend off the armed men had one of his fingers chopped off. The eviction was being conducted under the watchful eyes of a man claiming to have bought the property from the NHC.
But me pay my 500,000 to National Housing Commission, $500,000 million.
Levy and Amos, who were at work, were alerted by their families and started working on obtaining a stay order to remain at the house. They were successful, however. The battle over the property to remain legal tenants was far from over. Mr. Kurakipa was a man in his late 50s. He had children in university, a family to feed, and a court battle on his plate. The financial stress was immense. He started to get sick frequently. The family was worried about his health. The case was dismissed for want of a Section 5 notice, which is a notice of claims against state.
Move him. It's in the process. It's in the process. But in the long run, all got money, me plan got money.
His greatest desire was to pursue the case and appeal the matter, but his family advised against it because of his medical condition and the financial constraints.
This like I'm ting planting, na I'm thinking mouse, na I think all family, na all picnic go to school, na this la court, na make me go na I'm smata take care. I'm smata take na me to ploping go stop lo ICU lo engao.
The Kurakipas moved to a block at Kamkumung. Earlier this year, we called in to visit them and to do a follow-up. The man who greeted us when we arrived was much smaller than the man we remembered Mr. Kurakipa to be. After their case was dismissed, they planned to file a human rights case for the inhumane treatment their families were given. After spending so much money on the previous court battle, their funds had been exhausted, and so were the families. When we spoke to Mr. Kurakipa, he became emotional and he couldn't hold back tears as he talked about how unfair they had been treated as nationals and public servants.
Me respect him, this is blood now. Me just give in.
Despite being sick, he had the hope that justice would prevail for his family and others who had gone through the same battle. He was vocal about a system whose integrity had been tarnished and manipulated by money. His hope was that the laws of this country would serve everyone equally, despite the color of their skin, social standing, and affiliation.
Before Long Oli Salem, they already registered my interest to purchase that property. Now, me find out as 2014, me go down a follow-up to the letter, me find the matter of Oli Salem location to limited. And then me give the time he come now, me give him legal action, he come in Napoli, he victim.
Last month, we got word that Mr. Levi Kurakipa had passed on. He passed on without seeing the justice he had hoped for, without filing the human rights case that he and Amos Tarali hoped to pursue, but were set back because they had no funds. His story resonated with many other Papua New Guineans who had the experience of being kicked out of their homes unlawfully, especially from NHC properties. How many more Papua New Guineans will have to go through the same treatment? How many others are legal tenants but have to be kicked out because money plays a bigger motive than the welfare of a person and a family? How many others have to let cases go because they don't have the money to pursue the costly battles? How many more will fall ill under the stress of fighting a system that's supposed to be fair to the people? Mr. Levi Kurakipa was vocal against the corrupt NHC system. He didn't mince his words and he was unafraid.
Saya mi go niat na mi platingo sa orang jualan bata NHC David Kaupa, John Dege, Maylin, Benilin, all this law relations one me come. I mean must talk some this one me. This is my country. Me when I'm blood me pundan loya me bagodan.
I hope that his words were not in vain and that the government will indeed take stock of how NHC business has been carried out through the years. I hope for the sake of those who've gone without seeing the changes that the government will do what they preach to take back PNG.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. The Port Moresby Rugby Football League proper season will commence next week with 14 clubs scheduled to compete for 20 rounds. All clubs have been urged to pay their registration fees for players before the competition begins.
The POM RFL is one of the oldest leagues in the country. Since its establishment in 1949, the competition has been on for 72 years. With the competition scheduled to commence proper season next week, those clubs that are yet to pay their affiliation fees are advised to pay before the games begin.
3/4 of the club have paid their affiliation to Port Moresby Rugby League. And as it is year in, year out, we know that clubs will always pay their affiliations. So come season, they start. They play their competitions, and within 2 weeks of the competition, they usually pay everything, player registrations and affiliation. But affiliation is a must for all 14 clubs. Before the competition starts, they have to pay.
With the pandemic affecting the sporting calendar, the 14 teams will only compete for 20 rounds. The games will be played in 3 divisions, the A grade, under 20 and the women's division. Meanwhile, the board has made an appeal to all teams to pay their player registration fees.
And I would like to make a call to all the clubs to quickly, as soon as possible, pay their player registrations, because when the competition starts next week, after that we'll have 2 to 3 weeks for clubs to finalize their players and pay their player registrations.
The POM RFL has notched another step to improve its competition with the introduction of a new system aimed to capture digital records of players.
The reason why I'm making a call out to the clubs to quickly pay up their player registration is that so that within the new systems we have, we can build up a database for all players and all clubs. Yeah. Because currently we're testing a system, the scoring system, where it's computerized, where you just put in scores and the tables all format themselves, and we're just testing it up now.
Suli, Trukai Sports.
And finally, we've seen some pretty classic catches in recent times, but this is even the best.
It came during the opening women's T20 between England and India. The hosts were cruising for a big total when Harleen Diol stopped the in-form Amy Jones.
Oh, brilliant! Stunning! Absolutely superb!
The catch was a little ray of sunshine in a match ultimately decided by Duckworth-Lewis, with England victors by 18 runs.
And that ends Trukai Sports. The weather report after these messages. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoniPlus, with you always.
Weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow. Southern region, Port Moresby, Daru, Kerema and Alotau, partly cloudy. Popondetta, mostly fine. In the Momase region, Lae and Vanimo, partly cloudy. Medang and Wewak, mostly fine. In the New Guinea Islands region, Lorengau and Kavieng, partly cloudy with few showers. Kokopo, Rabaul, Buka and Kimbe, partly cloudy with afternoon showers. In the Highlands region, Mount Hagen, Goroka and Kundiawa, morning fog clearing into mostly fine periods with afternoon showers. Mendi and Wabeg, morning fog clearing. then partly cloudy with brief afternoon showers.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
And that's been the news, sports and weather for today, Sunday, the 11th of July, 2021. Pleasant viewing. Bye for now.